Hello, everyone. It's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, here with another exciting live stream. And in this video, I'm going to be doing another writing vlog where I talk about what I've been working on, what books I've been publishing, what new projects are in store, and we work together to help shape a greater book universe known as the Heart of Heroes. Give me 1 second. I'm going to set up the live chat. I'm going to set up the description of this video, and then I'll be able to see what you guys are talking about, and I'll also be able to easily navigate people to certain links that we put in the description that are important for this particular stream. So give me one moment, guys. I'll be, excuse me, right with you guys. I also see that Volt popped in. Yo, Volt. Yo, Godzilla. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you guys. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics like to talk about on the stream? Again, please give me one moment. I'm just getting everything set up. Let's see. So I'm grabbing the description from the last writing vlog, and now I'm going to take that and paste it into the description of this writing vlog. Then I'm going to set the tags. I have to change the category of the video because it's going to default it to entertainment because that was the category of the last video. So I have to change it from entertainment to people and blogs. Also, I have a lot of cool announcements for you guys. I see that Ryan also popped in. Yo, Ryan, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Like I said before, give me one moment to get everything set up, which should only take a moment, and then I should be good. So after I do that, oh, it's actually already set to people and blogs. I don't know how it knew to do that, but that's good. It's weird. It's weird because it's like it's good, but how did it know? Let's see. And now I have the live chat up to where I'm able to see what you guys see. So Godzilla said, "Hey Nick," he said, "I have a year for when the story is happening," and then he put in some weird Morse code looking stuff, and he's like, "That's the year." I don't know how usable that is, Godzilla. I'm not sure if that's a. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that mean like something that we can decode? Uh, Volt said, "Yo, what's good, Jen Godzilla?" Yo, Volt, welcome. How you doing? Then Ryan said tags. Then Godzilla said tags. So tags are settings that you can put on a video that make it easier for people to search. Think of them as like keywords that people can type into YouTube in order to find your content. Let's see. Volt said, "I can't see the Morse code." I set it to live chat instead of top chat so that it shows all the messages. Well, all the messages. Even then, YouTube will still censor stuff out. But live chat lets you see a little bit more than top chat does. Then Godzilla said, "Can you not read?" Okay. So here are the announcements that I have. So the announcements are as follows. Volume 3 of Heart of Heroes has been submitted for publishing for both my goodness, for both the ebook and the paperback version. Both will probably be published tomorrow. And I'd probably say like early morning tomorrow, both will be released. I actually put Volt's character Brain on the cover, and I really like how the cover turned out. I've realized that to make these really cool comic book covers, we don't need to try and put a bunch of characters on the front. But we also don't need to have characters just sitting in front of white backgrounds. We need characters in front of really interesting backgrounds, but we still need the characters to be the focus. Like, I think I've started to figure out how to make the book covers pop more and be more representative of the material inside. So I think you guys are really gonna like this new cover. I feel like it kind of borrows some elements from the last cover, but I think it has more of like a theme to it, and I think people will fuck with it. But Volume 3 should be out tomorrow. It'll be available in ebook format for $1 and in paperback format for $4. The ebook always comes out before the paperback, so the ebook will probably come out pretty early tomorrow. Big news! Big news! Big, big news! The biggest news. So the big news that we have is that Kratos and I, instead of jumping directly into Volume 4, are going to be working on RPG guidebooks based on the Heart of Heroes universe. So we're each going to write an RPG based on Heart of Heroes, and we're going to each do it in our own way. So I'm going to try and like reimagine the Heart of Heroes universe as if it was a game with like classes and different abilities and roles and checks and stuff like that. And Kratos is going to do the same thing, but we're not going to try and make them work together. Like we're going to try to both take our own approach at it and then publish them as separate books. So think of it kind of like how Stan Lee once wrote a bunch of DC books, but he wrote them in his own style. It's kind of like that, where like Kratos is going to make a game and I'm going to make a game, and we're both basing them off of the same ideas, but the two games are going to be different. So that's what I'm really excited about. I'm really hyped about that. So that's what we're going to be working on next. We're still going to work on volume 4, of course, but we actually haven't even like started volume 4. It seems like the next big project are these RPG books, and they're going to be based on volumes 1 through 3. And I'm going to try and incorporate every ability, every race, like everything that's in the series so far, I'm going to try and put in the game as something that characters can like become or explore or experience, and make it available to you guys on Amazon in case you guys want to play it. Now, let me read through the live chat because I am behind on the live chat. So let's see. Godzilla posted the Morse code thing again. Volt said, "Oh, okay." Godzilla said, "Volt said that we need a new calendar system, and I was too petty to actually make a readable one." Then Volt said, "Lol." Godzilla said, "Big news." Volt said, "I'm gonna try and buy them within the next week or so." Oh, nice. I'm glad that you're interested in picking up the books. Let's see. Godzilla said, "Big news." Then he said, "Oh yeah." Big news. Volt said that was excitement. Then Godzilla said, "Oh yeah, big news." Volt said, "Oh, that sounds fun to be honest." He said Jet better hold up to his standard of D&D holding the player back. So already, the idea for the combat system I have is better in my opinion than what D&D has. I've written some notes down, but I haven't actually opened up a document yet for this RPG. So if I pull up my notes that I have real quick. Nani said, "Do you still use the amino?" We've actually been using the amino more recently, specifically for Heart of Heroes, which is a shared public domain superhero universe thing that we've been working on. Like we've been creating characters and stories for. Um, a matter of fact, Nani, Volt, and Kratos, as well as Beth, we recently all like co-published a book together with like our different ideas in it. So the amino's been slightly more active as of recent. Godzilla said the combat system is that you have to actually fight the DM in real life. I already made something like that was called Crass Mundi. It was my live action role playing guidebook, and it's like one of my worst reviewed books. Like someone wrote a review for it and said it was like glorified tag. But in that you did actually fight people. I had like as a rule, you could straight up like punch and kick people as a way of doing combat. But you also had abilities that were based off of like old school like playground games, but set to like different themes. So like you had like freeze tag based abilities belong to like frost giants and stuff like that. Like I had it was kind of based off of childhood games. I just feel like the person who read it saw that and was like, "That's lame." But whatever. Anyways, where are we at? Oh, Godzilla was talking about the combat system. So the combat system that I have, again, I only have notes written so far, but for the notes, I have it where everyone does like the following 6 actions at the same time. So instead of you taking turns for combat, everyone does their combat shit at once. So you choose one of your 3 abilities to activate. You then roll for ability success to see if your ability activates. Then, after you've activated your ability, you choose your attack targets. So you identify like which characters you want to hit with your attack, then you roll for attack success, then you roll for attack damage, and then you roll for defense success. So you do all of these rolls at the same time. And then after the rolls are done, you then can figure out what happened. So if you attacked someone, you would compare your attack success to your opponent's defense success. And if your attack success is higher, you'll deal whatever you rolled for attack damage to your opponent. Like it just streamlines everything because in one turn everybody can attack and defend and use an ability at the same time. And then you can see like multiple people attack and defend from each other. But also you have like stats that come into play that can affect like all of these roles. Everyone has three abilities at the start, and then as you level up, you can change out your different abilities and you can increase your stats and stuff like that. So there still is a level of strategy in like what abilities do I use and who should I target with my attacks and who can I like get a leg over on because maybe my ability counters their ability or circumvents their ability in some way. Like it allows for fast-paced combat but without all of the waiting bullshit that I think is in D&D. And D. And it also makes it easier for people to decide what they're going to do. In D&D, I feel like a lot of times people take too long to just say, I'm going to do the thing that I do every turn. Now, the only like choice you really have to make during combat is which of my three abilities am I going to use and who am I going to hit? And then you do your rolls and you can just keep rolling. Keep rolling. That was unintentionally a play on words. Okay, let's see. Nani said, I see. Godzilla said, if you have damage multipliers, you just need a knife. Nani said, are those your drawings from what you've been posting? So when it comes to the drawings, we've been using this tool called Hero Machine. And by we, I mean Kratos and I have been using this thing called Hero Machine. Godzilla has been making his artwork in MS Paint, and Volt has actually been sketching straight up. I'm not sure if you've seen Volt's artwork yet. It's on the Amino, and I feel like I really like Volt sketches. But Hero Machine is a free tool online that a free tool online. I mean that's true. I felt like the phrasing was weird. Anyways, Hero Machine is a free online tool that allows you to draw superhero characters using pre-made assets, and you essentially customize their positions and colors and stuff like that. And they have different like poses and body types, etc. And that's how we've been creating those superhero characters. I talked to the creator of Hero Machine and I asked him, hey, would it be okay if we use these characters in our books? And he's totally fine with it. And I've been doing it even before we started doing the Heart of Heroes stuff. So whenever I have a character idea, I normally jump into Hero Machine in order to like draw it out for a book. Let's see. So where are we at? Volt said, by the way, the idea for the universe trapped in a marble thing, what do y'all think? So I do want to work on your Infinity Stone concept. Like, I like the idea of there being more magic items that we've created for the Heart of Heroes multiverse. But what I need to do if we're gonna like make stuff for the world is I need to actually open Google Docs. Excuse me, my apologies. I need to open Google Docs and I need to create the document for volume 4. Because right now I don't have a document for volume 4. So if you guys start spitting out ideas at me, also I just realized I was shaking the camera as I was moving. If you guys start spitting out ideas at me and I don't have volume 4 set up, I can't actually type them into anything. So I need to make sure that I have that set up. So give me one moment. Let's see. Godzilla said, those are drawings me and Volt have been posting, specifically on the Amino. And then Godzilla said, I like that. Volt said, it's way simplified D&D. Nani said, so those are yours, Gorilla? So Volt's been doing the sketches, and Godzilla's been doing the Microsoft Paint illustrations. Godzilla said, where should the Library of Myths be? So the Library of Myths has only appeared in an excerpt. Like I included it as a short story in volume three, the excerpt that you had about Antilac. But I haven't written up like a location description of it yet, because I don't think we've gone into a lot of detail about what the Library of Myths actually is. Real quick, let me make a copy of Volume 3 and just rename it Volume 4. And then I can edit like a couple things on it, and then it'll be set up to be Volume 4 for the most part. The main thing that we do when we make a new volume is we just copy the previous volume and then remove the stories. And then anything that refers to it being the third book, we just go, it's not the third book, now it's the fourth book, or it's not the fourth book, now it's the fifth book. Stuff like that. And I also try to in the about the book section try to say like what's new and what's different, how's it changed from the previous one. Da-na-na. But the stories are the main thing that are different from volume to volume, because all the characters from the previous volumes carry over. A lot of the lore stuff from the previous books carry over. But each volume has new stuff that the last one didn't, so like new characters and new lore and stuff like that. But the stories are always different, and you have to buy all the volumes to read all the stories, if that makes sense. Let's see. Godzilla said, I'm guessing the Library of Myths is going to be at Mistech City, but I don't know. I mean, that sounds appropriate, to be honest. Like, I don't know of another place it would be. Right now, we actually have only ever named like two cities. Kratos made a city, and I made a city. And Kratos' city sounds like a normal city. It sounds like a modern American city. Like, there's nothing weird about his city. And then Mistech City is like really weird. So it's interesting. And the only other location we've been to is that one forest in the AI Dungeon 2 story, the one that has the abandoned house, and apparently hella kaijus. Now I think about it. Let's see. Godzilla said the Library of Myths created this little article I'm making. Ooh, I'd be happy to see more of that article. Is it going to be on the Amino? Volt said, could the Library of Myths be some sort of pocket dimension or something? Like maybe there's a portal somewhere. That also could be cool. That reminds me of the Akashic Records, which is like this concept of like an astral library of all knowledge. Godzilla said, Theelbo is a city I made. He said, well, used to be a city. Interesting. Now that I have the volume 4 document open, I can actually start writing down ideas. So if anyone has like an idea for something that you want me to write down, let me know and I'll start with that. And let's go one person at a time. Because yesterday when I was trying to juggle Godzilla and Volt, it got a little weird. Also, I keep misspelling fourth. I'm trying to rush. Let's see. Godzilla said, Eighth Talak and King Thunderbird fought in Theobald, making it fall. And he said, so now it's a pile of rubble. That sounds kind of cool. Let me go to the city template. So for the city template, you have the name, the creator, the native species, key locations, and notable conflicts. So I think you have enough information for us to add that city to the cities section. So let me scroll down real quick to the bottom of the cities section, which is right before the species section. Godzilla said, yeah. Right now, we don't have any drawings of the cities, but I can't really make landscapes in Hero Machine. Bolt said, I posted this species for the day in the amino. Oh, ballin'. Oh, by the way, Volt, all of your species and species artwork that you had prepared as of like yesterday is in volume 3 and is going to be published in volume 3. So I made sure to get all that artwork in and all your species descriptions in that you had before. The new one will be in volume 4. Pretty much anything we talk about today is going to be in volume 4. Also, for the RPG guidebook, I'm only planning on covering material from volumes 1 through 3 in the RPG guidebook. Because volume 4, I imagine, is going to have a whole bunch of new stuff, and it's going to be continually growing as the RPG's being built, if that makes sense. And then I'll probably have to expand on the RPG in the future to maybe incorporate stuff from volumes 4 through 6. Like maybe every 3 volumes, I'll make an expansion to the RPG to cover those volumes. Godzilla said, I made a drawing of the falling city with Aethelak leaving. Ooh, that sounds cool. Volt said, I can try to draw the cities if I get some in depth descriptions of them. He said, I excel with architectural stuff. If you do end up getting Volume 3 Volt, Volume 3 goes into a lot of detail about Mistech City, which is the only city that we really have in the cities section. Kratos has made a city, but then he didn't explain it in the cities section. Like, he didn't elaborate on it. Godzilla said, Volt just made another cool species. I'm hyped to check it out. Real quick, real quick. I need to write down the name of the city you wrote. I always complain that you guys come up with weird names, but I also come up with weird names, so I can't really talk about it as if, like, only you guys do it. Let's see. Godzilla said the radiates. That was the species. Oh, they're the radioactive rock golems that he was telling me about earlier. Also, it's interesting that whenever I list Godzilla as the creator for something, I always have to say anonymous contributor. I'm curious how people who read the books who don't watch the vlogs feel about the anonymous contributor. Like, do they know that it's all one guy so far, or do they think there have been multiple anonymous contributors? So, were the native species of the city kaiju originally? Or did they live with like other creatures as well? Volt said, Godzilla, just go public. He's like, just let the world know who you are, Godzilla. Volt is listed as a contributor, but because I didn't have a last name for Volt, and Amazon demanded that he had a last name, he's credited as Volt Volt. Volt Volt has a writer credit and an illustrator credit. Godzilla said no. Ryan said big dick. So what are the native species of Thalebol, Godzilla? Was it like a only kaiju city, or was it like a mix of like kaijus and other creatures? So Godzilla said humans. Oh wait, are kaijus not native to the city? Like, did kaijus end up going to the city and attacking? But it originally was just humans? Like, is it something like that? Then Godzilla said no. So is it humans and kaiju? Okay, kaiju are not native. Okay, cool. So not native. Godzilla said Aethelak was protecting the humans from the Thunderbird King. I mean, that makes sense. So the key location within would be the Library of Myths. What description do you have for the Library of Myths before we move forward to notable conflicts? Notable conflicts is where we'll talk more about Aethelak fighting the Thunderbird King and the city essentially collapsing. But we haven't gotten there yet. First, we need to describe the Library of Myths. Let's see. Godzilla said while King Thunderbird was going to attack. Volt said, Ryan, you should contribute something to Heart of Heroes. I'd be interested to see what you could do with like a government or something. So Ryan and I actually had an interesting as fuck phone call like a couple days ago. And I really enjoyed that phone call. It wasn't a couple, that was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday Ryan and I had a really cool ass phone call where we talked about like time travel and alternate universes and stuff like that in fiction. And I was telling Ryan it'd be really cool to have him pop in on these writing vlogs because I feel like Ryan does know his stuff when it comes to a lot of fiction. He's watched like a ton of Star Trek. He's watched a ton of like Naruto, and he has like some level of encyclopedic knowledge about many of the things that he's interested in. And I think he can incorporate them in creative ways into a narrative potentially. Like, I think it would be really cool for him to offer stuff to it. Godzilla said, Library of Myths is a library with multiple articles, books, and myths. It is the main place for knowledge. Would it be safe to say that it is the largest library in the world? And would it also be safe to say, Godzilla said, yeah. And would it also be safe to say that it's like in a pocket dimension? Like what Volt was saying? Like, is it in the city, but it's more like there's a portal to the library in the city? Or was the library physically in the city and not just like a portal to the library? It, let's see. Godzilla said a pocket dimension. Okay. Let's see. Is the largest library in the world stored within a pocket dimension hidden within the city? Okay. Are there any other key locations that we want to mark down? Or would you like to go to the notable conflict section so we can get to the battle between Aethelak and the King of the Thunderbirds? Also, I'm glad that we're adding more to the location section because it was looking a little bare. Godzilla said large rock. What's the description for large rock? And then he said it is this really big rock. So what about the really big rock is there? Volt said maybe this universe has a man that lives inside the library who guards it. We could make that character together. Like we could collab on making like a Guardian of the Library character. A matter of fact, Volt, do you want to do that next after we finish up this location? Godzilla said that people suddenly worship, and then Godzilla said the librarian. The librarian's a cool name. So the is it just called Big Rock? Volt said I'm down. Godzilla said the librarian of the Library of Myths made this article actually. Oh, ballin'. So let me add the Big Rock. Is it just called the Big Rock? Um, it is an enchanted rock of, I can't say of immeasurable size. That doesn't make any sense. It is an enchanted rock. It is an enormous enchanted rock that compels those around it to worship it as a god. Let's see. Godzilla said yes, and then he said, now time for the battle. Okay, so we're in the notable conflict section. And I'm going to say, trying to figure out how to spell that nigga's name. Because now I've spelled it a lot, and I still never feel confident about when I spell it. Aethetolak versus King Thunderbird. King Thunderbird attacked. Let's see. King Thunderbird attacked the city, and Aethetolak fought him off. Let's see. That's not the way that you would phrase it. You'd say something like, Aethetolak tried to stop King Thunderbird from destroying the city. He was able to force King Thunderbird to retreat, but he was unable to save the city from total annihilation. Do you feel like that's like a fair description? It's not like super detailed, but it gives people the knowledge they need to know about like what happened. Then Godzilla said, yeah. And then he said, exactly. Okay, ballin'. Now let's go to the characters section so that we can add the librarian. Volt said, ooh, I think the portal having a sort of key that has a mind of its own might be an interesting idea. We still need to add like a magic item section. Real quick, before we start on the librarian character, though the librarian character will be the next thing that we do, I just want to set this up. I'm going to set up a enchanted items template just so that when we do start making enchanted items, we kind of have like a format for it. So enchanted items are going to have a name. Also, fuck, is this shared with Kratos? When you make copies of things, you're supposed to like hit a checkbox that says whether or not you're going to share it with like everyone who had the last thing. And I think I forgot to hit that checkbox. Give me one moment. I think Kratos doesn't have access to this yet, but he needs access to this so that he'll be able to make the appropriate edits when the time comes. Okay, so we have name, then I guess like origin would be nice for enchanted items. Like where does it come from? I guess I should say place of origin. Like where would it come from? Um, oh, also creator, like as in like who was the person who came up with it for the book, but also I would want to know the enchanter, like who was the person who created the enchantment, and then I would want to know, excuse me, what it does, like magical properties. So for every magical item, it's going to need a name, a place of origin, like where was it made, and I guess current location. Well, maybe not current location. That may not be necessary. We don't need to know where it currently is. Because then if we start writing about it, current location would be something that have to be continually modified. We don't need to go through the trouble of that. But now we have an enchanted items template. Let's see. Volt said, "I think you and Godzilla should make the librarian." He said, "I'm more of an idea man." Godzilla said, "I am writing the article." Okay. So if you're writing the article for the librarian, while you make the article, maybe I'll work on the character himself, like who he is, what he does, what his powers are, who his antagonists are. I actually am already starting to come up with ideas for the librarian, because I think he should be a member of one of the factions. Volt said, "I like the idea of certain items being created by the universe itself, i.e., the dreams of the gods." I mean, that's true. I definitely understand that. And you could definitely do that. Like, for the enchanter or whatever, you could just say that, like, the sleeping god is the enchanter. Do, 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 do. Let's see. So I'm now in the character section. Also, I don't know why, but my chair creaks when I like go back and forth. I don't feel like it always did that, but it definitely does now. So let's see. The librarian. This feels weird. Should we all be listed as creators for the librarian? Because what I realized is like, I think Volt came up with the initial idea. No, because Godzilla was already writing a thing about who the librarian was. So if anything, Godzilla came up with the initial concept of the character. Then Volt was like, we should actually add him as a person. And then now I'm writing the description of him. Godzilla said, "I don't know to classify it as an article, a document, or a report. Either way, I'll add it as a story in volume 4. The last time I did a story, it was like in volume 3, I called it Excerpt from the Library of Myths. I think I just straight up called it that specifically. And I could always just do future excerpts and stuff, like say like another excerpt from the Library of Myths, or excerpt from the Library of Myths colon like a title. You know, there's plenty of the stuff we can do with it. So for the librarian, I currently have myself listed as the creator. Volt said maybe say it was a collaboration. I can just list multiple creators. Like I can be like Volt was involved, and I can say anonymous contributor for your boy Godzilla. So we all were involved in the creation of this character. For powers, I think it would be cool if he had domain force. I think domain force is an interesting concept. So the way that I'm going to define that power, it's the ability to manipulate and create pocket dimensions, um, essentially having godlike powers within like a very specific pocket dimension. So I need to define this better. Maybe not to create, the ability to manipulate reality within a specific domain. In this case, the ability to manipulate reality within the library of myths. So it's kind of like he has complete control over the library of myths specifically. Let's see. Volt said maybe say it was a collaboration, and then Volt said infinite knowledge. So I don't necessarily want to give him infinite knowledge. The reason why is because if I did, he would become a problem from like a storytelling perspective. Because then he would know everything about the story universe, and problems would arise where you'd be like, well, why didn't he help out with the thing? Because he would have wanted to help out with the thing. Excuse me, and stuff like that. I will give him like superhuman intelligence. I'm fine with him being smart. He's the librarian for a reason, so I think that makes sense. Godzilla said, I can't tell you. I am just a simple hermit. It's like a quote that he has. And then Godzilla said, he just can't give them hints. And then Volt said, infinite knowledge of the past. And then Godzilla said, or tell them anything. Do you want the character to be mute? Because that actually would be kind of interesting. Well, no, it wouldn't. If he has domain force where he can manipulate the reality of the library, he could just communicate his ideas in other ways. You know, like it wouldn't matter if he was mute. He could telepathically tell them, or he could like give them a book. Maybe he doesn't want people to use the library. Like maybe his whole thing is that I want to restrict the library's use to only specific people. And if you're not those specific people, you need to like get the fuck out of the library. If he has that mentality, then it doesn't matter if characters roll up on him because he's not going to be useful. He's going to be like, get out, get out. And if he is useful, he'll probably only be useful in specific ways. Like he could just know who needs what. But he also has like a list of who he actually cares about their needs or something like that. Volt said maybe that's why he's guarding it. You must be worthy, like Thor. Okay. I could see that. So right now he has the ability to manipulate reality within a specific domain. In this case, the ability to manipulate reality within the library of myths. And then he has superhuman intelligence. I'm not sure if you need more than those two things, to be honest. Well, I guess he's not useful outside of the library of myths, now that I think about it. Maybe you would need more than that. Cowboy said, shut, nigga. And then he said, hi. And then he said, I meant sup, nigga. Yo, Cowboy, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Also, don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. I might give him another power to make him more useful. Maybe the ability to summon portals to the library of myths. Like specifically, he can summon portals to go to the library of myths. That way, if he's ever outside of the library, he can get into the library. And if he ever needed to fight someone, he could pull them into the library and be like, "Here, I am God," and then like have an epic battle against them. It actually would be really cool to see the librarian fight off against a god. Volt said besides his superhuman intelligence, he's just a grumpy old wizard looking dude outside of his domain. Cowboy said, "Who's watching this in 720p?" Let's see. So he has the. I want him to have the portal thing, I guess, at least. So that he can go back home. And also, I guess, so that he could call people into his library. Because that's really the only influence he has outside of the library, is him being able to do the portals. Um, you mentioned that he's grumpy. I'll add that to his personality. He's grumpy. I'm going to say that he's dutiful. For him to be like guarding the library and like staying there essentially by himself for who knows how long. Um, I'd say he's protective. Oh, I just realized something. He should probably have some ability that lets him live for a long time. Because if he doesn't have the ability to live for a long time, that'd probably suck. Cowboy said, "Does it use energy?" Does what use energy? Volt said, "Reserved." Yeah, I'll add reserved. Right now, he's grumpy, dutiful, protective, reserved. Um, I'm going to add the ability. Hmm. Well, he doesn't need any special abilities that allows him to live for a long time. If he can manipulate reality while inside of the library of myths, like within that domain. If he has domain force, then as long as he's in the library of myths, he probably won't wither away and die. But that also makes it seem like if he were to ever leave the library of myths, he might actually just wither away and die. Maybe he knows how to make like potions to where he can temporarily exit the library, but he needs to then be able to get back into the library or he'll wither away and die. That could be like an interesting concept. So he's grumpy, dutiful, protective, reserved. I'd say his alignment, he's probably a hero, I would say. You mentioned that he'd be like a grumpy old wizard. I don't even know if you can draw old people in Hero Machine. I don't think I've ever tried to draw an old person. I might draw him as he would look in the library instead of how he would look like outside of the library. Volt said that's what I was thinking. But maybe it's like when Goku uses that training thing that warps time, like the hyperbolic time chamber. I mean, Homeboy could use his domain force to like warp his time within there to make it not have as negative a effect on him. Volt said, if I'm remembering that correctly. I mean, the hyperbolic time chamber made you experience time faster, but maybe within the domain he can experience time slower. But that would be his choice to do that by manipulating the domain. For his suit design, I want to give him like a monocle and like a bow tie and a sweater vest. And I want him to have like a brown and blue color scheme. And like dress pants. So I don't want him to necessarily look super special, but I do want him to be more special than he appears. And then he'd be the guardian of the Library of Myths. And I guess I'll define that further. His role is to only allow specific people access to the library and to only allow those people access to specific books. and that's like his main role. And then his antagonist would be anyone who violates the rules of the library. So let me go back in. Cowboy said, "Are you doing a AI Dungeon 2 stream today?" Volt said that's on Wednesday. Yeah, so we do AI Dungeon 2 on Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It seems like people are confused about what the AI Dungeon 2 schedule is because Ace popped in and he was like, "Hey, I don't know when AI Dungeon 2 is anymore." And he mentioned that he left a comment. Now that I think about it, I probably did see Ace's comment, and I think that's why on Wednesday I did a community tab post where I was like, "We're doing AI Dungeon 2 at like 11 or whatever." But that's been the schedule for a little bit. I'm gonna try and keep doing what I have been doing recently, where I do a post on the community tab where I say, "Hey, on like this day at this time, I'm gonna do this thing," and keep doing that because I think it helps you guys keep track of the schedule. Cowboy said, "What are you doing today?" So earlier today, I did a Kingdom Hearts 3 stream in order to help celebrate Kratos' birthday. I then did a comic review stream because a new Flash comic came out today. And now I'm doing this writing vlog stream. After the writing vlog stream, I'll probably continue writing just off stream because my phone only has so much battery. Like at once the stream hits an hour, I'm gonna end the stream, but I'm gonna still be writing. Let's see. Volt said, "I mean, I wish we did more AI Dungeon 2, but it'd probably get kinda old fast." I'm not sure if it would necessarily get kind of old fast. Um, I think the main reason why we don't do AI Dungeon 2 like every night is because, or even like multiple times a week, is because sometimes I just kind of want to go to bed. Like it hits like 11 and then I have work the next day. And I start work at like 7 a.m. And next week I have to do a lot of video editing or whatever. Um, and one thing that I've learned about video editing where you have to do voiceovers throughout the whole video is that like you can't really do anything else. I'm normally like a programmer, and when you're programming, you can have like videos playing in the background that you can listen to, or you can have music playing in the background, or even if you need to focus and you can't have music and you can't have videos, you can at least like chew gum or have like mints in your mouth, like something to entertain you to help keep you going beyond just work. But when you have to like use your voice, like record your voice for something, chewing gum messes up the recording because you end up getting like gum smacking sounds and stuff. Having mints messes up the recording because you gotta like move the mints around to talk or try to restrain yourself from moving mints around while you talk. Um, and you can't have videos play in the background because if the videos play in the background, they'll like interfere with the voiceover. And you can't have music play in the background because if you have music play in the background, it interferes with the voiceover. And you could arguably put on headphones, but if you put on headphones and try to like record something that you're reading, you could mix up the words you're hearing with the words you're reading and shit. So essentially, when you do a voiceover for video, you can't do anything else. You're just locked into work, and it makes work feel a lot more draining than if you could have other stuff going on. So sometimes I just want to go to sleep. That's why we don't do AI Dungeon 2 every night. That's why we don't have like 11 p.m. streams every night. Let's see. So where we at? Godzilla said, "Okay, done with the story. Ballin'." He said, "I need it to be edited, but it's a good first draft." Okay, nice. Volt said, "I feel it." Godzilla said, "Just a simple little kaiju thing." Volt said, "God, that year is atrocious." Godzilla said, "Lol." Godzilla, we need a better year than some dashes. I don't know how that's gonna work. Kratos has a character who's in high school. He has two characters that are in high school. What are they gonna be? The class of dash dash comma plus equal sign? Let's see. Godzilla said, "Lol, it is a good year." Let's see. I guess I could draw the librarian now. Because if I don't draw him now, I'm gonna like fall behind on drawing people. I drew a whole bunch of people today uh, to try and. Well, or was that yesterday? Shit. Yesterday, I guess I drew a whole bunch of people. But if I draw them now, I don't have to worry about it later. Gazelle said, sure. Volt said, when I'm able to start working again, I'm gonna be super chatting for them early AI Dungeon 2 streams. Interesting. I mean, that sounds like a thing that you could do, to be honest. The thing that makes it weird, I guess, is there's just only so much time in the day. You know what I mean? So I have to have time to read the comic because now we do the daily comic book reviews. So I have to have time to read the comic and to write a review for the comic before I can do the comic review video. Then we're doing the writing vlogs because we're constantly creating new content for Heart of Heroes. But for a writing vlog to really be worth it, I would have needed to have put time into the book. So it's like I need to put time into like writing more stuff for Heart of Heroes, and I need to read the newest comic, and I need to review the latest comic, and then God forbid we're doing anything else that day. Like if it's like a day where I gotta do AI Dungeon 2, at least it's like the last part of the day. So I got to do like I got to read whatever the comic was, and I got to like write some stuff from Heart of Heroes. But if it's like Tuesday, where it's like, oh, we might play Jackbox at 8, it's like, oh fuck, that means I gotta like earlier on write and draw stuff and like read the comic and get the review ready and shit. It just makes it like it makes it grosser because essentially we went from having a schedule that wasn't set to anything in particular except on Tuesdays and Fridays to a schedule where it's like every day there's a writing vlog and every day there's a comic book review video. By the way, on Saturday there probably won't be a writing vlog. There might be a comic book review video because on Saturdays I spend the whole day with Beth and it's like 12 hours. We go from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. with two intermissions. We have one intermission for lunch and then we have one intermission for her to eat dinner. And during the dinner intermission, I might be able to fit in that comic review. Maybe. I get like 2.5 hours, so I should be able to fit in the comic review. I might do a writing vlog. Fuck, I don't know. Because I'm going to be writing a lot tomorrow during the date. Because Beth is going to do recreational stuff, and I'm going to do recreational stuff, and we're just going to be talking to each other. So I might have tons of updates, to which then a writing vlog would be appropriate as well. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Volt said, "Yeah, that is a hell of a lot of work." He said, "I feel bad for you, man. I mean, it's not like a bad thing. It's just I have to figure out how to manage it." Volt said, "You gotta take more breaks, man." Well, I mean, this is recreational. Like, this is like what I'm doing for fun. It's just I have to make sure that I manage all of it correctly. Let's see. Also, I don't like how baggy this shirt is. I was talking about this on the Kingdom Hearts 3 stream, but I feel like this shirt is just a house shirt now. I don't think I want to wear this shirt out and about. Um, Beth's parents got me a Dragon Ball Z shirt that's more my size. That's the one I was wearing yesterday, and I love that shirt. It fits me well. I just feel like this feels weird. I don't like it as much as I used to. Also, this shirt isn't black. I really like black shirts because I feel like all my non black shirts eventually are just going to get sweat stained. You're going to have some time where you were outside for an extended period and your shirt's just going to get fucked. Volt said Jet's dad's like, damn it, Jet, the shirt is fine. I mean, I imagine that's somewhat accurate. Dad doesn't really curse that much. He does sometimes, but not really that often. My mom used to curse a good bit, but she says that she's slowing down on it, which is good. I can't really speak toward my parents too much now, I guess, because I don't spend too much time with them now. For one, because of like the pandemic stuff, and two, just because I don't really live with them anymore. Godzilla said, "When the big oxodal that is so weak that it tries to protect small ones beats you. Mm. I, I feel like there is a meme that was supposed to be there. I can see where the meme lies. But will the meme rise? Let's see. So I have the white background. I have the standard male pose. I didn't make the librarian like super muscular or anything. Godzilla said, it kind of has to do with the story. Interesting. Okay. Again, I'm hyped to see the story. Ooh, I found the sweater vest thing. Or at least I found, excuse me, the vest. I need to find the sweater part. So I added the overshirt. So now I need to add the undershirt for the sweater part. I'm trying to find what would look good as a sweater. So that's like a button up. I wouldn't call it a sweater. But I guess a sweater vest, the vest is the sweater part. A button up can go under the sweater vest. I think that's fine. For neckwear, I need to give your boy a bow tie. It has little tassels under it. I don't know how I feel about that. That's a little. It's extra. Oh, wait. Ooh. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Fuck me. Go back. They have a bow tie that doesn't have the little tassels, but it also has like the dress shirt collar. It's perfect. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Volt said, I'll probably write mine with a usable year of some sort. He said, sorry, Godzilla, but I will not stand for this mutiny. I do think the year is an interesting controversy. I know in Dragon Ball, they like to have stuff like ages. So it'll be like, instead of saying the year is da da da, it's like age 364 or something. And ages replace years. And because it's like arbitrary, I think it works. Because it's not like BC or AD or AE or whatever. So it could be age 364, but who knows if there are like multiple ages or whatever. Like it ends up not mattering like what age it is, but it gives you some kind of measurement for how they do scale time. Let's see. Godzilla said it is fine. Okay, so I've given him dress pants and a belt. I'm now going to hit him up with those dress shoes. I'm going to set it to match pairs. Oh shit. This happened recently where I couldn't find the dress shoes. Like I couldn't remember where they were. Those kind of look like dress shoes. They may not be in the standard pack of assets. I'm going to go to expansion 1. Okay, I've widened my eyes to try and catch these dress shoes. I still don't see them. I saw some shoes that kind of look like dress shoes in expansion 1, but then I thought they looked kind of girly, like they didn't fully look like dress shoes. Also, it's not matching pairs like a little bitch. It needs to match the shoes. It's not like 4 years old. You can do this. Put the shoes on both feet. Let's see. Godzilla said, but I will bug you if you use the normal calendar system. We shouldn't use a normal calendar system, but I don't think we should go to dashes and shit. I think that's going a little too far. Volt said, so the marble is a key that seeks out the worthy to get them to look for the portal. Well, we gave the librarian the ability to open portals to the library. So the librarian already can be like, here's a portal to the library. So I do want to help you with the magic item thing. Give me one moment to finish up librarian head ass, like his drawing, and then I got you. Like we can work on that together. I think that's the closest thing to the dress shoe. Is this thing right here. So I need to get it on his right foot because it's not matching pairs. Look a little bit. Get me back into the standard pack. Get me back into the standard pack. Yeah, I think those have to be the dress shoes. So now I need to work on his face. I haven't done anything for his face. I also haven't given him any gloves or anything. I don't think he needs gloves. Oh, I was gonna give him a monocle. Forgot about it. Okay, headgear. It's weird to give him a monocle before he has eyes, but it's fine. You can do it in any order. Let's see. Godzilla said, "Make old hermit librarian Stan Lee." I don't think I can make old people. Volt said, "I'm struggling here with this magic item stuff." No problem. We can work on it together. Volt said, "Stan Lee is the librarian. It's canon." We'd have to have CGI Stan Lee for like a movie. Also, um, I feel like he looks young when he's in the library, but he would look old outside of the library. So I think that's when he would look like Stanley. I do think an homage like that would be really cool, but I feel like that's something that we'd have to do if it was like a movie, or if we had someone who could straight up draw Stan Lee as the old librarian. Volt said that's an interesting concept. I don't think we could straight up call him Stan Lee. It would have to be like similar but different, and we'd have to make sure it wasn't offensive. You know, it would be something that we would do like out of respect more than anything. Let's see. So I have his monocle. Damn, I'm tempted to give him no eyes. I actually think it would be cool if the librarian was non-human. But then that doesn't work with the Stan Lee thing. I guess he has to be a human. I thought for a moment it would be really interesting if he had no eyes, but he had the monocle or whatever. I was like, that hits different. Godzilla said, Stain Law. Stain Law, the librarian. I mean, to be honest, he doesn't have like a real name yet. Let me close the volume 3 document and let me name him Stain Law. Volt said, non-human? I mean, technically, he'd have to be mage-born or something to have these powers anyways, if they weren't cybernetic based. Because that's the caveat to any of these abilities. Because you can be like a cyborg in this world. So I could always be like, cybernetic molecule, my goodness, cybernetic monocle. Those cybernetic molecules sound interesting. I've never heard of that before. Imagine if a way for you to get powers in this world is you get injected with cybernetic molecules. That sounds kind of cool. I actually like that a little bit. Let's see. Godzilla says Stain Law should be a lizard person and rule the government. Volt said true. Maybe he was one of the first mage born. Ooh. I mean, that's an interesting detail. I kind of like that. Not gonna lie. Because we haven't tried to say who the first mage born is yet. I don't even think that's come up yet. But it seems like it'd be a relevant thing. Like it would maybe matter who the first Mageborn is. To be honest, we don't have stories about the first Mageborn. We don't have stories about the first Sleepwalker. We don't have the first stories about like the first like Doomsday Breaker. There are a lot of first that we could potentially do that would establish like key points in lore. Also, I found the perfect mouth for him to give him like a serious face. I actually really like the mouth he ended up having. I'm about to give him a beard. Let's see. Godzilla said, who was the first kaiju? That also is a good ass question. Is the first kaiju still around? Godzilla said in our story. He said, not in real life. So, I don't know. But I feel like these are all things that we could answer over time. Like, we could start establishing these first. My boy looking majestic as a bitch. Yo. Like, the first hair I put on him, I was like, well, that's kind of popping. Okay. I was originally going to give him... Yeah, but that haircut makes him look too young. This is refined. I dig this. I'm going to stick with the hair I just gave him. Volt said, Beardsley is the name, and librarianizing is my game. Librarianizing. My boy's out here inventing the new words. I'm curious how this brown and blue color scheme is going to turn out. So I'm going to make his vest primarily brown, and then I want to make his shirt primarily blue. But the vest has like brown buttons on it. No, the vest has blue buttons, and then the shirt kind of has like a brown outline to it. I mean, the shirt could just be all blue. The brown outline looks kind of weird with the blue. Let's see. Godzilla said librarianizing is a type of society, like socialism. Wouldn't that be like librarianism? Librarianism. Volt said, I'm gonna work on a story of the first sleepwalker. Ooh. Okay, I definitely would be interested in checking that out. The lore's about to get deep. Let's see. So I think the collar should be blue and the bow tie should be brown. Because that goes more with the color scheme that we have so far. I think the belt should be blue, but the buckle should be brown. Like it seems like the features of everything are brown, but the main color is blue, except for the vest, which violates that rule. The pants could just be straight brown, though. I'm actually fine with those not being two-tone. That seems good for me. But then the shoes... Can the shoes be two-tone and it makes sense? Oh, that... Oh, it replaced the other color. I was like, that doesn't look great. It makes the nigga look like he's wearing like dress Jordans or something. Like normally shoes aren't two-tone like that. They're like dress shoes. He could have like blue dress shoes. I'm fine with that. Let's see, I'm gonna give the monocle. Let's give him like a blue monocle. And then I'm actually gonna give him like a red hair color. It's kind of like the orangey brown color or whatever. Let's see, where we at? Godzilla said in the year, and then Volt said, no, be gone, demon. Or maybe, maybe. Volt said, the power of the sleeping god repels you. Then Godzilla said, question mark. Let's see. Let me give him that orangey brown for his eyebrows. Okay. And then let's give him blue eyes. So it seems like we're gooding him. Like if the librarian has like a pretty basic style, then we've almost got him. I need to color his skin. Because right now he has like no pigment and it looks weird. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I need to make sure the pigment's closer to Stanley. My first choice of colors was not close to Stanley. His hair color I don't think matches up with Stanley. But Stanley also, just when he was older, his hair like loses color anyways, so it doesn't really matter. I can make like the young person have whatever hair color I want. If the old color is just white. Because that works for anything. Let's see. Volt said, though I walk through the valley in the shadow of the dead gods, I fear no evil, for they are still sleeping. The dead gods? So I think that's an interesting line. Why the dead gods? Volt said, "You shall not hurt me, demon, of fake years, for you are trapped in the slumber." Volt's starting to get into Kratos territory, where like the characters are kind of edgy. Excuse me. Godzilla said, "The ruler, Almaglarnoth, and then he said like Hail Cthulhu, and then like little Morse code shits. Okay, if I could put a book in his hand, I think that would be cool since he's the librarian. And I think I can. I think in the miscellaneous set, yeah, one of the options is just straight up a book. And then I'll make the book like orange and red because it doesn't have to match his color scheme, and it would kind of be weird if it did. Yeah, there we go. So he's holding a book, he's got a monocle, he can manipulate reality, open up portals and shit. Okay, so now I need to go into Google Drawing and post a picture of this fool. And then I can copy the picture from Google Drawing into the Word doc. The reason why I paste it into Google Drawing is so that I can crop out the website, because you have to take a screenshot of the whole website because they don't have a function that just lets you grab the image, which I think is really bizarre. I don't know why you can't collect your thing as an image. It could like self screenshot, and I think that would work. Also, sorry about the weird camera angle. I'm trying to like move my phone out of the way so I can crop the image. Okay, there we go. I still kind of need to move, like keep moving the phone, because then I always stretch the image out to make it a little bit bigger and fill up any dead space. There we go. So we got him. So I'm gonna copy that image and paste it in above the librarian's character entry, and now he's in. Okay, so Godzilla added in more of the monster language. Volt said, "I might make that the last line of the Sleepwalker story. Though I walk through the valley of dead gods thing would make for a creepy last line." I mean, I imagine it would. I'm just trying to figure out, what does that mean? What does it mean, walk through the valley of dead gods? Let's see, Godzilla said in English, "You cannot kill me. These years shall these years shall stalk the world, because I am speaking in a made-up language, and if you know this, that is cool. Big bad boys." Then Volt said, "Lol." Then Godzilla said, something I don't know how to say. Ralyihian is such a cool language. Is it like a Skyrim language? Ralyihian? Let's see. The library kind of reminds me of someone. Godzilla said, "No. Is it like a language that you created for this universe? For the Heart of Heroes universe?" He said it's Cthulhu's language. I did not know that. The more you learn. Volt said, "I think it's a good look into a man who just learned of the sleeping gods and doesn't exactly understand what's going on." Interesting. It's weird to think that the first Sleepwalker has like, he's misinterpreted the idea, because it implies that the beginning of the Sleepwalkers came from not understanding the truth behind reality, which then makes me think, well, if they didn't get it, at what point do they get it, and what makes them understand it? You know what I mean? If the first guy didn't even know for real, then is he even the first guy? You know, like, what makes him the first Sleepwalker if he doesn't fully understand what's going on? Maybe he sparks intrigue that leads to the first person who understands. But you think that understanding would be like a prerequisite to you being a Sleepwalker? Like if you didn't understand it, then like how do you qualify? Kind of thing. Godzilla said, I think maybe the kaiju might have created the first Doom Breakers, Doomsday Breakers. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, kaiju technically are the first Doomsday Breakers because the kaiju want the same thing the Doomsday Breakers want, and the Doomsday Breakers just want the kaijus to succeed. Volt said, "True. I'll figure out how to use it. No problem, my guy. I'm excited that you're working on like first. I think that's cool." Godzilla said, "Corrupted an innocent mind. They corrupted more, making this thing." So the librarian is now fully decked out. Also, I just lost track of time. I was like, when the stream hits an hour, I'm gonna like end it, and we've been going for like an hour 20, just about. So I'm probably gonna end the stream now, and I'm gonna start working on the Heart of Heroes RPG. Volt said, "Oof." But don't worry, I'm having fun, and hopefully we'll be able to do another writing vlog tomorrow. Godzilla also said, "Oof." And I'll also be trying to do another comic review tomorrow. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. Stay tuned for more content. Volt said good night, man. Good night, Volt. Good night, Godzilla. Good night, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope to see you on the next stream. Check it out. Peace.